So, recently, I wanted to make a new deck because I had been playing Ice Barrier for a long time. Now, one of my friends got me pilled on Paleozoic, so after a quick Joshua Schmidt video later, I built, from the bulk mostly, the day of the info pre-release Paleozoic. I made some changes and some additions with the new Aqua info card, and I think you'll be surprised how it did. My matchups out of 4 rounds were round 1, Tenpai Dragon, round 2, Memento, round 3, Snake Eyes, round 4, Fiendsmith Snake Eyes, and I ended up going 4-0. I won the entire event on my first day of playing the deck. I think it's a very fun deck, and now let's get into the profile. Bit of a deck profile. I got first place, winning the Sneak Peek Infinite Forbidden, and I used Paleo Frogs. I'm not gonna lie, I got kind of pilled on it after I saw Joshua Schmidt's list. So praise be Joshua Schmidt. I didn't make too many changes, so let's just get into it. It is a 57 card deck. You will be surprised what makes up the 57 cards though. 3 Absolute King Back Jack. These are just really good and you really need to use. Having a link 1 to link this off is so good on your turn, or just being able to make like going second, Typhon, put this under Typhon and then detach, try to bounce, and then use its effect. Really, really good. I like it. It came up a lot. Then have what I changed in this list. That is Swap Frog package. So I've got 3 swaps, right? Really good if you can special summon it. But, I mean, again, fitting with this as your normal isn't too bad. Just because you only have Backjack as your other normal, so it doesn't matter as much. So yeah, Swap Frog. And then the new Ice Barrier package of the Mirror Mage. I could be convinced to put this at 1, to be honest. You know, like something like 2 swaps, 1 Mirror Mage, 1 of the continuous. But you have 60 cards. I don't mind doing swaps, 2 Mirror Mage, and 1 of the continuous spell. Came up. I don't actually know how I like this package because while it did come up, all you really get to make is food. You have to actually kind of use a lot of your resources. You have to discard with something or normal summon Swap Frog, and then that can get you a Toad, which feels the best when you just normal summon and it goes off. Sometimes it doesn't though. And the new card. This card is insane. This is definitely going to be a 3 of soon. Like, since this was a sneak, we're allowed to use cards. This is an info. This is an insane card. Just so good. Yeah. It's too good. Literally, your Paleos trigger this. It then summons, and then during your opponent's battle phase, you just immediately can exit into something. And it's really good because with a trap card in here, rise to full height, you can target one of your cards and then overlay, and then they can't attack, and then you have a Paleo for next turn. It's so good. So 3 of those. Like I said before, the 1 Freezing Chains for the Ice Barrier package, 1 Reasoning, and the 1 Carded Demise. I like these. My Carded Demise got ashed the one time I played it, but it's whatever. Reasoning is really good. Reasoning is a little worse now because you play so many 2s that they're just going to call 2. And then we have 3 Trap Tantalizing Tune. Pretty good. For to trap, get ashed, but when it resolves, oh, it feels so good. Plus, being able to banish it, put back your transaction rollbacks, it's really useful and comes up a lot. I was lucky enough to not really get ashed on this too often. Even when I did, normally I was pitching something good, like a rise to full height, transaction rollback, something I could use in the graveyard. Now, here are the goes. Marilla, it's the Foolish, it's so good. Nadia, it is the Book of Moon. I like it. I could be convinced to run this at 2, but having the Paleo names is just, you know, you run the ones that are decent. Paleozoic, the putback from Banished is so good. Being able to put back your transaction rollbacks or anything that you need that's banished is really good. And it also, pretty sure, it just says banish card, so you can even do face downs, which is really nice. MST, really good. And say you go first and they set 5, you want to be popping that stuff right away. Dinomiscus. Discard can be really nice when you want to get rid of something. Discard a brick and, you know, banish something. Really nice. Those are pretty standard. I think everyone plays like those ratios. Free rollback. Really, really good. This is, I think, what makes the deck, to be honest. Transaction rollback is so good. The first effect doesn't come up too often, but if you're playing against either another trap deck or some deck with imperm, it can come up. But the second effect is so good. Trap trick gets you into anything. So this was, ironically enough, this was my first time also playing this deck. And I didn't know that trap trick, once you set a card and use a trap, you can only use that one trap. So you set anything, so you have 5 back row, you trap trick, or 4 back row, trap trick, set a 5th. After that, you can only use one of your 4 traps for the remainder of the turn. I didn't know that, so that almost cost me a game, but I was lucky enough to have a transaction rollback in Waboku, engrave. Speaking of, rise to full height. This is insane. This, I feel like, is the 3 that you run for stopping attacks. Tenpai sure can get 1 attack in, but only 1, and you can, and if you do it right, like I said before, they actually get no attacks, because they, if you chain it to something that's about to remove a monster, like a pop or an Xyz summon, they can't attack because that card is gone. Same with, I think if they Zelantis the board, or if you Zelantis the board somehow, rise to full height, it needs to be that card, and it technically comes back as a different card, I think is how it's ruled. Either way, 3 Needlebug, so funny. Yeah, just mills 4. If this gets hits, like either this or Morella gets ashed, the other goes off, and it still just keeps you going and keeps you in the game. It's so fun. I like it a lot. Briefing, another ash target. This deck can get hit with ash a lot, but you know, you got to chain it properly. You know, you have 2 to 3 things that need to go off. They all can be affected by ash. Try to do them all on one turn instead of, like, say you know, round 2, I use Fiend Griefing and then Needlebug, and then on my turn, back on my turn, I try to do something else like it's ash. You never know if they have 3 of them in hand, so always just try to make sure once something gets ashed, it's kind of like the green light almost. Speaking of Balance of Judgment, crazy. I one time drew 10 on a practice game in Balance of Judgment because they set up literally an entire board, and I just had Balance of Judgment. I transaction rollback Waboku, and I just won. I just straight up won. I really like this card. It can feel bad, to be honest, but when it feels good, it's good. 2 Waboku. I don't think you want to run these at 3. I have the space. It's 57, but I just don't like Waboku as much as some of the other stuff. Hope for Escape. This, I'm not going to lie, this did not come up as much as Balance of Judgment did in the tournament, but you can do a lot of funny stuff with transaction rollback. So I think these are good until we figure out, like, another kind of draw scenario. So I think 2-2 for each of them is fine. I didn't really, luckily, with 60 cards, I didn't brick. And lastly, we've got the 2 Threatening Roar. Again, pretty good. Came up a good amount, especially against Tenpai. But you play a lot of, like, stop the battle phase. Play, like, what? It should be 7? Threatening Roar, 2 Waboku, 3 Rise to Full Height. So you play a lot of stuff that keeps you in the game and can keep on to your next. And then I would be playing the Daruma. I could only get 1. I was very lucky that when it came up in the right situations where I was able to draw into it or send it and then use transaction. Trap Trick is dead with the 1-ofs, which is why I play a lot of 2-ofs. Yeah, Karma Cannon is really good. Play this at 3. In the current meta, Snake Eyes or Towers, I played against Trap Tricks on one of my practice games online, and they had a bunch of the monsters unaffected. But because this affects the player, it's still got all sent to the graveyard. So this is super good. Play that at 3. And then 1 E-Burst because Joshua Schmidt. And this is hilarious and insane. This is genuinely good. Play this. Literally just a board wipe with no cost, as long as you use transaction rollback. All right, extra deck, pretty stinky. This should be, I think, an Anima. I think Anima is better, but I only have an Almirage. I thought I had an Anima in my binder, but I didn't. But this is the second best thing. Normal summon, backjack, link off, backjack effect. Yeah, so yeah, run an Anima if you can. I do like Almirage. I think it did come up once, but it was very specific. This, 2 of, dude, these things are going to be so trippy for me to say, but 2 of Animal Curious, yeah, we'll just say that. 2 of Animal Curious. Really good. Just being unaffected by monster effects is crazy. 2 of this because it requires more materials, but being able to pop, hypothetically, 3 cards in 3 turns, 1 per turn, is really good. On the summon, you pop a card. On their turn, you pop a card. And then back on your turn, you pop another card. And then it got all of its use out. 2 of the Searcher. Opinia? Yeah, sure. 2 of this. Unashable, Unveilable, which is huge right now. A lot of Ash going around, a lot of Veiler, a lot of Mourner, a lot of Ghost Ogre I've seen. So having the only thing that these things get destroyed by, of course, is Droplet or Imperm. And that is significantly less than the monster hand traps. So these are really good. Or just monster negations. Voiceless Voice. Summon this. They can sometimes have the trap set up. Normally I'll try to bait that out. And then they'll try to negate this. And it's okay, cool. It resolves, and then I get the ad, and then it's over. Got 1 player like that. It's bad, but feels pretty good. 2 of the link. This might be a 1. My extract's weird because I couldn't get everything complete. But again, I'm very happy with how it performed anyway. This thing's insane. Letting you send a set card, and then set another card, and being able to activate, or set a Paleo, and then being able to activate it that same turn. Literally won me my round 2. Super good. And then we play the rank 2 packages of Toad, maybe a 2 of. I have a 14 card extra, so I should have ran this at 2 just to fill the space. But it's super good. With the Ice Barrier package, you can make it pretty easily, and then just somewhat protect yourself from Duster or any other kind of shenanigans like that. Duster, Lightning Storm, and then they have the second, and then you're kind of in trouble, but at that point you're cooked. You're cooked anyway. And then Toad's effect, add back the swap, or another aqua or water is super good. Gigantic, I actually never went into him, but he's just to make some sort of big body. Downard, super good because we play the package. You want 2. This is one of the things I could only get 1 of. So 1 Zeus. It did come up. I wouldn't have had to go into a game 3 if I had a second Zeus. Literally. I can make big bodies that are unaffected with the Paleos. And then if you want to risk it with some sort of monster effects, you go to Downard and then go into Zeus. One time I made him, and he's got 3 materials. So he is just him alone is a 4 material. And then you can almost guaranteed Zeus wipe. Because you go chainlink 1 Zeus, they try to negate it. As long as it's something you can respond to, you just chainlink 2 Zeus again, and then you guarantee the wipe. And then your Paleos, if any, stay on board. It's crazy. Typhon came up a couple times. It also saves your Paleos. because, you know, it goes back to the grave when they're detached. And then the package that I didn't get to use, but I have seen some applications, and that's just super good. Anima Zelantis. I did use it once online against Snake Eyes. I baited out all the other interruptions. They also played a little bad because they used monster effects that didn't matter. Anima, bring back Paleo, Link, Zelantis on summon, and then their monsters get banished. And then only mine come back. And by mine, I mean if you have Paleos. Pretty sure Paleos are still unaffected by Zelantis. So it just brought back mine. The one Zelantis, and I just swung. But yeah, that is extra and main deck. The side is also a little scuffed. One DD ground. This should be a second. I've got one spooky to fill out the side deck. This should be a second DD ground. Even though I definitely think you want something for going second in time, but the side deck's a little interesting. It's pretty much a copy of Joshua Schmidt. So yeah, these two. Two ice barriers, or ice dragon prisons. Didn't really come up as much. I might side these out. Like take these out. I didn't see them as much. It might be certain matchups, which is why I really want to play with this deck more to see the matchups that this actually shines in. Two Fiend Comedian also never came up, but it is a funny card, and I really wanted to use it. So yeah, the Fiend Comedian, again, in Joshua Schmidt's list. Any funny traps? I've been looking at a lot of funny traps. There's the water trap that tributes to water for cost, and then lets you look through your opponent's hand. You actually have waters, so you can tribute, use it once, and then transaction rollback, use it twice without tributing for cost. And then I'm pretty sure you still get to look at your opponent's hand and then send a card. Now, with some decks, that's not a terrible thing, but, you know, if it's some sort of board breaker, then that helps all the better. So I'm going to experiment with it. DD barrier, this is staying in. DD barrier is insane. Game 2, honestly, once Snake Eyes gets hit, I'm very tempted to run this in the main, genuinely. Because the only reason that this isn't as good and Karma Cannon's a little better, Karma Cannon covers a few more matchups compared to D Barrier. But once Snake Eyes gets hit in the end of August, I imagine, D Barrier is way too good into every other matchup, I feel like. 3 Witches Strike, because of the Voiceless Voice matchup. It doesn't straight up win you the game. You have to have some follow-up, but it does pretty good because they just negate something, and then you immediately so they'll get some of their stuff back. You know, they get if they have the spell card engrave, they can special summon, and then based on the special summon, they can use low or Low's effect to summon, and then whatever they summon off that probably has an effect. So you're popping their whole hand and board, but they get 3 bodies. But if you have enough follow-up, 3 bodies is something you can easily play through. And then this, something that's just, you have to. Scattershot, time package. And not even time package. I'm not gonna lie. This is like game 2 package. I didn't think about that. That's been the interesting thing about this deck that I've noticed. Like just from the first 4 rounds I've ever played of this deck is time comes up fast. When you're playing this deck, you're playing super grindy games. One round, I only played 1 game. I played game 1. That was it. Just game 1. And it was a 45-minute game 1, and I won because I was up by like 400 life. Not even because I won the game. So yeah, you definitely want to be mindful of that. And if you know that, like, hey, the first game took 35 minutes for going first, you're going to want just the time package. You're going to want Scattershot. Not only is it a good time package, but it also is just a board wipe. So you side E-Burst out, the 3 transaction, and you put those in. And that's it. Yeah, so I went 4-0, won the sneak peek with Paleo frog-esque good stuff, I would say. Mostly I was just going to say Paleo. A lot of fun. I really can't wait to keep playing this, to be honest. I know the meta kind of sucks right now, but I've been having a lot of fun with this. So I look forward to it. I am going to make innovations, or innovations. I'm going to try to make some changes. Let me know what you guys think, though, with the deck list. I know some things are still not complete, but I am looking forward to it a lot. I might go to a regional and run this, just because, you know, it was a lot of fun to play this. But yeah, I did round 1 against Tenpai, round 2 against Memento, round 3 against Snake Eyes, and round 4 against Snake Eyes. So that was the matchups. Yeah, that'll be all from me. You guys have a good day. I just wanted to show off the deck list. See ya.